Spiritual Bond. Episode 2. The Scientific Method. Eliot cleared his throat. So to recap. Quill nodded. Go ahead. I am a ghost. Sorry. Not your fault, presumably. I am a ghost. For some reason, perhaps as repentance for my sins, I physically cannot leave your side. And because of said tethering, you are currently taking me into town against my will. Hey, it's not against your will, said Quill. We both haven't seen this town in a while. For me, it's been never, and for you, who knows? Probably a long time. I mean, you did call the 80s the future. Eliot thought for a moment. So, if the 1980s aren't the future, what are they? What year is it currently? Quill grinned. Ooh, just like those time travel stories. It's 2019. Stopping in his tracks, he stared at her incredulously. The 21st century? Her smile only grew. Yeah, what year did you think it was? Why, last I can recall, it was the dawn of the 20th century. 1900, no later. Now it was Quill's turn to be shocked. You're that old? She paused. Wait, that came out wrong. No, yeah, that's what I meant to say. He grumbled. Thanks. No problem. Look, downtown's up ahead. From the top of the hill they were on, they could see the sprawling, yet small downtown. Many of the buildings were new, definitely 21st century, but a couple towards the center had the craftsmanship of the 20th. One or two even looked Victorian. Do you remember any of this? Asked Quill. Eliot shook his head. I have to admit, I didn't really go to town all that often. I might, never have actually. First you're old, now you're a recluse. You're full of surprises, man. What do you even do? He looked a bit defensive. Listen, though others may disagree, my line of work is best done alone. I busied myself in the mansion doing science! They both swiveled their heads towards the source of the yell. Yes, that. Not too far from where they were standing, a small park lay beside the road. On the edge of the field, two girls excitedly darted back and forth between the grass and a beat-up notebook. Quill was about to move on back towards downtown, but Eliot remained. You coming? Oh, yes. Was just trying to see any of the science they were doing. Come along. He moved past her, but now she remained still. You're interested, aren't you? Eliot sighed. I am a little bit, yes. If this truly is the future, even experiments conducted by children could be way beyond what I know. Their knowledge is intriguing. When they walked and floated over, they quickly realized the two girls were twins. Both had dark hair cut down to their shoulders, complemented by thick, large glasses. They donned overalls, and the only thing differentiating them was the color of their shirts underneath. I'll do the talking, said Quill, getting their attention. Hi! What's going on over here? Science! They both exclaimed. Well, I can see that. One of them tilted her head. Wait, I haven't seen you around before. Did you move here? Just for the summer. Name's Quill. Eliot attempted to introduce himself, but the girl in yellow waved before he could. I'm Synonym. The other girl in pink followed her motion. And I'm Cinnamon. Eliot raised an eyebrow. Are you trying to make it difficult for us to differentiate you? They ignored him. We just finished up one of our experiments, and I'd say it was a success, said Cinnamon. Synonym nodded. Turns out that mulch and dirt are different. Mulch is mostly wood, while dirt is mostly dirt. Quill gave a smile that she hoped didn't look too fake. Oh, really? How fascinating. She was beginning to realize these scientists might not be the best options for immense discoveries. How old are you two again? 10. I see. She should expect as much from literal children, she thought, as if she wasn't barely a teenager. She turned to Eliot. Sorry you're not unlocking the secrets of the universe here. Science isn't always about new, shocking discoveries, you know, chimed in Eliot. I've had many an experiment that were simply reaffirming facts the scientific community already knew. Of course you'd side with them, Mr. Scientist. Who are you talking to? Said Synonym. Huh? Quill looked between Eliot and the twins. You mean you can't see him? See who? Said Cinnamon. Quill paused. Then she grew a mischievous look on her face. An inkling, a possibility of an idea. Hey, I got an idea for an experiment. The twins gasped and closed in on her, unknowingly pushing Eliot out of the way in the process. Do you? What is it? Do you want? She put on the slyest grin she could muster. To see a ghost? They stared at her through their glasses, enraptured in the idea. A ghost? Said Cinnamon. Like, from the movies? Oh, they're not just fictional, no. They're very much real. She leaned in towards them, and they leaned in as well. She lowered her voice. And there is one in our presence right now. Nice theatrics, Eliot cut in. But I'm not that interesting. Being invisible isn't the worst thing in the world. Quill did not appreciate her spell being broken. She pouted and glared at him. I can see you, but they can't. Isn't that weird? Don't you want to see if anything can change that? We do, Synonym all but shouted. But how? Asked Eliot. Quill hadn't figured that part out yet, truth be told. I guess that's the experiment. I've seen an episode or two of some ghost shows. Shouldn't be too hard. She glanced back at the twins. Got any ideas? They racked their heads together. We don't really watch any ghost shows, but our parents do, especially Dad, said Synonym. Didn't Dad have an a recorder thing for ghosts? Said Cinnamon. Yeah, but Mom made him throw it out, remember? It freaked her out too much. Oh man, you're right. Well, added Quill, wouldn't you just need something that can record audio? Their faces lit up. Our phones! They pulled 2 smartphones out. Synonym's was covered in fingerprints, while Cinnamon's had a cracked screen. Eliot stared at the phones in utter fascination. What are those? They just said they're telephones, said Quill. That cannot be a telephone. Where are the wires? Where are the buttons? How can it record audio? It looks like a brick. That is a lot of history that I cannot explain. Just know that we have wireless telephones that look like bricks that can do many more things than just send and receive calls. Got it? Eliot wasn't satisfied. He floated over to the twins, who were fiddling around, trying to get a voice recorder app open. Reaching out a hand towards Synonym's phone, he timidly pressed a finger on the screen. At least, he tried to, but she moved before he could, so his hand landed on her arm instead. Synonym shivered. Eliot stilled, making sure she wasn't harmed in any way by the contact. After a second, she went back to messing with her phone, and Eliot went in for a second attempt. This time, he moved quicker and managed to land his hand smack dab in the middle of the phone. Suddenly, Synonym yelped and threw the phone to the ground. Cinnamon was with her in an instant. What happened? She said. It shocked me. The phone on the ground lit up with sparks before fizzling out to a screen of black. She brushed it with her foot, and after she was sure it wouldn't shock her again, picked it up. Hey, it won't turn on. As she frantically pressed a slew of buttons, Eliot blushed. I didn't intend to break it. Realizing she wouldn't hear him, he faced Quill. Tell her it was an accident. He says he didn't mean to break your phone. Synonym looked up at her. You mean the ghost? Quill nodded, and her eyes widened. So there really is a ghost. But how are we going to record him with a broken phone? No problemo, exclaimed Cinnamon, lifting her phone into the air. We have my phone. And guess who's been recording the whole time? No way. Synonym went over and high-fived her. Nice. Smart, admitted Quill. But did it actually pick anything up? Let's see. Cinnamon tapped the screen, and audio began to play. Ah! What happened? It shocked me. Hey, it won't turn on. I didn't intend to break it. Tell her it was an accident. He says he didn't mean to break your phone. Not gonna lie, I wasn't sure that would work, said Quill. Well, it did, said Synonym. Another experiment a success, said Cinnamon. Let's do another. Well, actually, said Quill. She looked outside of the park, towards downtown. While these experiments were more fun than she expected, there was still a whole town waiting to be explored. If she remained there wouldn't be anything to explore before the sun went down. We were originally going into town, and we still want to check it out. Eliot looked a little disappointed. We? Since when did you make the decisions? Since when you got stuck with me, she retorted. Will you come back? Asked Cinnamon. Though their glasses were thick, Quill could see the cutest, most convincing puppy dog eyes she'd ever seen. Yeah, we'll come back. Yay! And they headed off towards town. Time was of the essence in exploration, and time waited for no one. Though, this brief stop was certainly welcoming. Quill could almost say she made some good new friends today. And the odd thing? She could say Eliot did too. To be continued in the next episode of Spiritual Bond. Madam, there seems to be a situation at approximately 41 degrees north, 75 degrees west. What kind of situation? A supernatural entity has made itself known. I'm getting very definitive infrasound readings. Interesting. Assemble a small investigative team. Report your findings in 1 week. Loud and clear.